Hi everyone, welcome back to yet another banging episode. It's your favorite host, Babi Mawela. Welcome back, and to our new subscribers, our new viewers, you're welcome. It is home here. Please, you know the house rules. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And every time you want to get a notification, please click on the notification bell so that every time you receive a notification when we upload a new episode. I'm excited today, and I'm sure you can see why. I am with Prof Mamokgethi Phakeng. How are you, Prof?
Good, I'm good.
It is so good to have you here. Your energy, I love it. I love it. How are you feeling today?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Except the fact that you drove from Gaborone this morning, but I feel refreshed.
That's why we love and appreciate you, because you make time for us.
Yes.
We appreciate every moment. And please, our viewers, please let them know who you are, where you're from, where do you come from, and where are you now?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Pretoria, from Hangouts.
Okay.
But that's weird.
Yeah.
Because my age group, there's always a three-legged answer to the question, where do you come from?
Okay.
There's a place where you grew up. There's a place where you were born or where your people are from.
Yes.
And there's a third place where you sleep currently.
Yes.
And often it's you can group them in this way. You have a village, the township, and the suburb.
Yes.
My village is Marapiani. Marapiani is a village in the sort of intersection of Mpumalanga, Northwest, and Limpopo.
Okay.
During apartheid, it fell under Bophuthatswana.
Okay.
But it currently falls under Mpumalanga. It's a weird Mpumalanga area.
Okay.
Because every time you say Mpumalanga, people are thinking nail spray.
Yes. Yes.
And it is more towards the Northwest and out of Limpopo
Okay.
than anything.
Okay.
That's my village. And that's because that's where my paternal grandparents come from. And I spent a lot of my young life there. In fact, I started school there.
Okay.
I started school under a tree there.
Oh,
in Marapiani,
okay.
Yeah. And my township is Harankua. Harankua, of course, for many young people, they think it's an old township, but actually it's a newish
It's
township.
a newish township, no?
It only started in 1967.
Okay.
I was born in 1966, but in an area that now doesn't exist.
Okay.
Where the Group Areas Act, when the Group Areas Act was implemented, people who lived in Eastwood in Pretoria, where I was born, were forcibly removed.
Okay.
And people who were refusing to move were still there in 1966. Otherwise, people started leaving in the early 60s, because the Group Areas Act was pronounced 1958 or
Okay.
so. And so they were moved to Harankua. So I grew up, some of my young life, or a lot of it,
Yes.
of my youth was in Harankua in Zone 2. Amazing place if you think about it. I always say, Prof Mamokgethi University was built whilst I was a teenager.
Okay.
When I was at high school. What is now Tshwane University of Technology, Harankua campus used to be Setlogelo Technical. But before it was Setlogelo Technical, it was just the bush, just close to home.
And we didn't even know that.
But I grew up, it was the bush just close to home that we walked to, and we saw the Technicon being built under Bophuthatswana government, and then we saw it moving from being Setlogelo Technicon to being Tshwane University of Technology campus, Harankua campus. And then next to it is the hotel school. So I grew up in an area where in fact, you had no chance. If you really, there was so much opportunity. And I would like to say there's still a lot of opportunity. Because you could go to the hotel school, you could go to the Technicon or the University of Technology, you can still do that. Or you can go to the university, which is now Prof Mamokgethi University. And of course, if all else fails, there's a welfare home just next to the hotel school. You can end up in the welfare home. I'm just saying if things got really bad.
Yeah.
A suburb. My third area suburb is interesting because I'm one of the very fortunate citizens who inhabit two cities.
Okay.
I'm now a Capetonian.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, very much a Capetonian.
Okay.
I contribute to the economy of the Western Cape.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not there to beg. I want it to be very clear.
Just let us set the record straight.
No, I'm not there to beg for anything, for accommodation, for anything. No. I contribute to the success. Whatever you see as a success in the Western Cape, I contribute to it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Because I'm very active economically. So that's my suburb. And somewhere on the west coast of the Western Cape, Western Cape, and then of course I also have a base in Johannesburg right now. So I live in the two cities. So quite complex explanation, right?
Yeah.
But Babi, it comes with age.
But speaking of age, look at you.
The explanation it gets longer as you grow wiser.
Yeah.
Dare I say?
But you're putting us to shame. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. I sell the recipe. If you pay me well, I'll tell you.
Please subscribe for the recipe. And I think the reason why we want to get to know you is because we don't want to use social media to assume the person that you are. Yeah. And I think we are very privileged to have you here. And we just want to get as much as we can while we have you. Yeah. And today's topic, by the way, is the things you think your employers don't see.
Yes.
I see that you speak a lot to the youth, and we are the youth, and we make silly mistakes.
True.
We make silly mistakes. Yeah. Sometimes, even I think we make mistakes throughout career choices, personal choices, and we just want you to give us advice throughout the episode. But maybe you're not even speaking to the youth only. There are people that are still, misaligned, I assume. So, as an employer and as an employee, what are the things you've picked up that we as employees feel that our employees don't see, and we seem to get away with them?
Many people think an employer doesn't notice when you are just there for the money.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're there just for the bag. It doesn't matter what your qualifications are, but as an employer, you can see people who are just there for the bag.
Yeah.
They're not there to make the company succeed, the company to grow. They don't care, actually, that the company grows or succeeds. And I think often, if I get an opportunity, I like making young people aware of that. Because, sabotaging the company is sabotaging yourself.
Exactly.
Because if the company dies, you don't have a job.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the best employee you can be is be an entrepreneurial employee.
Yeah.
Because when you're an entrepreneurial employee, you make the company grow, you make the company make money so that you can make money.
Yes.
Of course, we can teach you how to make sure that you make money when the company makes money. But you've got to know that the success of the company is your success. If the company fails, you fail.
Exactly.
Together with a whole lot of people who are your colleagues. And so some young people think that an employer doesn't see that. But we can see. We can also see players, by the way.
Okay, players. They are players.
Yeah or no? They are players.
Our definition of players.
I know, not in that. In the work environment.
Yes.
Those who are there to give an impression that they're committed, as if they're committed, but they're not.
Okay.
Those who are riding on other people's backs.
Ah.
There are employees who work hard, employees who work hard, and there's this employee, who is riding on the bodies of this world, who pretends that and always poses as if every job that's done from their department is them. But you as an employee, you know. You just keep quiet. You pretend that you can't see, but you know who's who. But that's why it's important for management and leadership in companies to have their eyes peeled and get to know their employees very well, because that's the only way you'll get to know who's playing and who's playing and who's not committed, who's riding on other people's backs.
Yes.
Because some people are so introverted, but they are so hardworking.
Exactly.
And you might not recognize them or acknowledge them if you're an employer who's not aware of what's going on. But a good employer knows what's going on, and they will reward even the introverted who does the work without making much noise or without rubbishing other people. Because some, by the way, rubbish other people.
Yeah.
They go around bad mouthing other people.
Yeah,
and
for
saying they're
free.
and they say for free, they're not paying, right? And they pretend that they're the good guys.
Yeah, I know those people.
Yeah, and then you just listen. Meantime, you're noting.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of things, and I hope we unpack a lot of those things that
Yes.
that employers note and that employees could be aware of, and perhaps some of the things that employees could do to grow their careers while they're employed.
Yes, yes. And, you spoke about, how employers could potentially identify these people. Do you think that employers have time to do that? Are they putting in, or are there initiatives that they can put in place to tackle people who have such behavioral patterns in the organization?
I mean, by the way, when we say employers, we mean people who are also hired.
Yes.
They themselves are employees.
Yes.
But they have the position high enough. And so they're representing the owners.
Yes.
And I think it is, having been in those positions, it is our responsibility to be able to identify those things and to be able to use them and to be able to, because it's also in our interest. We want to grow the company, we want the company to grow, to thrive. So you create, whether it's team building sessions,
Yes.
whether it's tea rooms. I mean, it's amazing what happens at tea rooms, and it's amazing also what happens at the fountain where you get the water,
yes.
at the coffee machine. And so you create those things so that, because that's when you get to know people or to see people in action a little more. But also the other thing that they can do is the walkabouts. The walkabouts are quite important.
Okay, so walkabouts.
Walking, like don't
Just taking a walk.
Don't just sit in the office as a manager.
Yes.
Walk to the people.
Okay.
How are you? And how are your children? And don't forget. I mean, one of the things that I really, really like doing is getting to know people.
Yeah.
Cleaners, gardeners. I start with the bottom, and as an employer, you've got to do that. Like just hello, how are you? So were you at church yesterday? Or wow, your dress look amazing.
Yeah.
Usually with the cleaners, the women, it works so well to start complimenting people about how, before they start putting on their uniform to work,
Yeah.
your dress looks so well. Who made it? And then you find out actually one of them is a seamstress.
Yeah.
They actually do
okay.
their own dresses. And then it creates an opportunity for conversation.
Yeah.
In no time, you will know their children. In no time, you'll know that one of their kids is doing grade 10 and is dreaming of being an actuarial scientist.
Yeah.
And then in no time, you can hear that they themselves have a dream.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it creates an opportunity to suggest a short course they can do.
Okay.
To create for them to go and shadow somebody in the company, because you can see they're a committed worker. So having started as a cleaner, they might actually end up being a receptionist. And maybe in 3 years they are a PA.
Yes.
Maybe they, you, do you know what I mean?
And I hear you.
Exactly. And I think that's the one way in which an employer can actually get to know the space, the people, and create opportunities for them to get to know each other. Because if I know that, hey, you're that way as cleaners, and then I bring you together, then I can go, oh, Maria, do you know that Maria is a seamstress?
Yes, okay.
Do you see what I mean? What it does there, like everybody goes, dang, 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 dang.
Yeah.
Wow. Maria, so many of these African print dresses that Maria wears, she makes them at her home.
Sure. Okay, so we've spoken about the good feedback. Yeah. Let's touch on the bad feedback. And so when these behaviors are picked up in the organization, there's bad feedback too. How do you relay that as an employer who has picked up no man, baby? On purpose now.
Yeah. I mean, bad feedback is giving bad feedback or negative feedback.
Yes.
It's not easy. And nobody likes to get it. But first, it lands better if the relationship is better.
Okay.
So if I've always said to Maria, wow, Maria.
Yes.
Okay. And let's say Maria actually is messing up, whether she doesn't come to work
Yeah.
well, or whether she's a player, whether I want to call Maria back. I would call Maria into separate and say,
Oh, so this is in a private space now.
yeah, Maria, you know you're good, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I've got to tell you the truth, Maria.
Yeah.
You see, ABC, Shem, you are messing up. And you see how you're messing up. It's gonna mess up all this good
Yes,
that
okay.
you're doing.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? So I would start with what's working. That I love your energy. I love the fact that you're gifted.
Yeah.
You're using your gifts.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. But Maria, in this company, you are hired as a cleaner.
Yeah. So when
You're not a designer.
Yeah.
Of course, I told everybody that you are a seamstress. But you can't spend using company time measuring people.
Yeah. And it's
No, you can't. After work, Maria, here. You can't do that while the sink is full.
yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'll be very clear. But my hope is it lands.
Yeah.
It lands well. Because in fact, I've been affirming Maria. But here's the thing about being an employer. It doesn't matter how good, best intentions you have. There will always be someone who will not see the good intentions.
Is it?
Yeah, they'll always.
Okay.
Always. And
It's
even
good
when
every
you do
time.
things, even if you do things well, there'll be some Maria somewhere who says, "Who unagana gore ke mang?" O tlo re jwetsa mo, una le mona this, ha batle rena re tswelle pele, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. I mean,
It's
if you're
human
an employer,
nature.
that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So you when you're in a management position, that's what it is. Some people will not take it. It doesn't matter how much you give negative feedback after giving positive, after affirming, they will still do that. And they might act up, they might whatever, but
that's very strange. For me, it would be very strange because here you've basically set the tone for me. You are telling me the good that I'm doing. Obviously, when it's that one time when you're like, actually, Babi, no.
But we are human, Babi. People don't like negative feedback. I mean, she knows that actually this is I don't like being a cleaner. I'm just here because I don't have opportunities.
Okay. Now I see.
Because when you think you are better.
Yeah.
You forgot, of course you are better. But here you applied to be a cleaner. Doesn't matter how amazing a seamstress you are. You applied to be a cleaner, and so you must clean. And you must do the cleaning job. There's no seamstress job here. Do you see what I mean?
I hear you.
So it's that bit. And sometimes it may be precisely because I pepped you up so much that you are so creative that now you think cleaning is not good enough for you. It might be. So, being a human being has got downsides.
I can agree. I can agree. And as I'm sitting here with you, I actually feel that I want to tackle a lot of things apart from things that employers things that we think our employers don't see. Now I'm thinking, there's also an issue of quiet quitting that people are not talking enough about. What do you think are the causes of quiet quitting, or what are let's start with the signs. What are the signs that someone is quietly quitting?
Yeah, people start to withdraw. Firstly, in meetings, they don't say anything. They just keep quiet. They don't volunteer to do any job. They do the minimum required.
So if I'm going to do admin, I'm going to send emails, I'm going to
That's it. They don't want to do more. And if they can get out of they get away with not doing something, they will get away with it.
Sure.
Because they are not there anymore. So they basically, and often people do that because they're already looking for another job.
Exactly, yeah.
And so they are withdrawing. And so they will do the bare minimum just so that the box is ticked that they were not on leave. So they don't owe the company.
Yeah.
The company, in fact,
Owes them.
even though they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not convinced that it's a good strategy. It doesn't matter how grumpy you are. It doesn't matter why you do it.
Yeah.
And we can talk about why, but I don't think it's a good strategy.
So we're speaking of signs, and I want to, what do you think are the causes of quiet quitting?
Yeah.
Because it obviously stems from somewhere. One doesn't wake up and decide they want to start looking for another job, or they don't want to put in an effort anymore. What are the causes that you have observed to be contributors of quiet quitting?
I mean, several. I mean, one is that if people feel not valued. You know, I'm at work, but I'm not recognized for the work that I'm doing. I'm not valued. It seems as if I don't, I'm made to feel like I don't add value. And so people withdraw for that. Sometimes it's the fact that people feel I've been here too long. I contribute a lot. And I'm not getting any promotion. And in fact, it seems as if they're keeping me in this position because I'm that good.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to withdraw. I'm going to volunteer. Even though I know I can do a task. If they ask me to do something extra, I'll give an excuse. So people then are quitting quietly. They're looking for another place that will actually, as they utilize their skills, as they whatever, they get promoted and they are not, because some companies, but unfortunately, some companies, especially consulting firms, like keeping people who are very useful, keeping them at a particular level because then they can use you. So every team leader wants you to be in their team, but they're not going to give high reviews about you to an extent that you get promoted. Because if you get promoted, they're missing out
on
you because you are so useful. You are as good as having 3 people, and so they'll keep you there. Many consulting firms do that. I wish it were different, that they could keep you there and pay you more. But then they don't pay you way more, and then people who are not so good can get out of teams and they can go up, but you stay there. So it's unfortunate. The other thing could be that some people join companies, they have high expectations.
Yes.
And their expectations are really trashed by whatever reason. And then they think, actually, I can do this business myself. I'm an entrepreneur. And so they start wanting to start their own business.
Yeah.
And so then they're just there, tent making, if you like, but they've withdrawn from your company. But they're there, they do only those things that will help them advance their own future business. Because they've probably started whatever, they start doing things that will get them to their future business. If it's a task that they know it's good for where they want, then they go for it all out. If it's a task that doesn't, then they withdraw.
Yes, they would.
Yeah. So it's a tricky situation of people quite quitting.
Yeah.
And I say it's sabotaging self.
Yeah.
Because if you just quit quietly without addressing it first, then nobody knows why you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And so you might just gain a reputation as a shaker. Like this is a shaker. He just comes here. He just plays around. And that reputation might just, if the powerful people get it, they might just spread it. And then it's not good. You find that actually it's not you. You were reacting to a situation, and now this is being made to be you.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's not really how you are.
That's not you.
So I would say, if you're thinking of quitting quietly, better try to address the problem.
The problem.
That's getting you to wanting to do that. Address it with your line manager. Your line manager doesn't get it, address it to your line manager's line manager. What you're doing, you still normal. If they're not attending to it and they see a change in behavior, then they can attribute it to say, hey, you know, Babi has been complaining
about this. Yeah.
So that it doesn't make it like that's who you are.
Yeah.
It's not who you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, I love that because I think the way you answered that question also provided a solution for quiet quitting.
Yeah.
So, which was going to be my next question, and I think as an addition to the question that you've just answered, I think, do you maybe agree or disagree that maybe the management styles of people are the biggest contributors of quiet quitters, or is it just that people are just tired? Or you've answered that, but I think maybe for people who want to go deeper, would you say maybe management styles or just attitude of people? What is it that what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, good question, Babi. You know, I think perhaps I hate blaming a management style because when you blame the management style as a quiet quitter, you are saying, I'm innocent.
Okay, yeah.
What's happening? I'm a victim.
There's no accountability.
Yes. But actually everything is a dance. It's not just the management style that's not working. It's also the kind of worker you are. That's why it's not working. But here you are hired, by the way. You should never, you know, for me, it's just the understanding, you know, I get into a work environment, I remind myself every day, I'm hired here.
Yeah.
And I have a line manager. They have expectations. I don't own this company. It doesn't matter how smart I am. It doesn't matter how much I want to contribute. I can contribute. I don't own it. So do I want to come in here? After coming in here, then start saying the management style of the manager doesn't work for me?
Yeah.
I found people here.
Yeah.
I found the company here. I didn't set it up, you know. And I do understand there's got to be some meeting points, you know. But I think there's a tendency these days of young people thinking that the world should fold because of them.
Sure, I think that's true.
You know, and I'm not saying that the world should be harsh and uncaring because it's a hard place to live in this world. You know, work environments are tough, can be tough. You know? But I think I always ask myself a question: why should anyone keep me in their employ? And if there's a favor that a young person can do for themselves, anybody actually, young or old, is ask yourself, why should your employer keep you in the job? And here's the thing, in my view, the only correct answer, there are only two possible correct answers. It's either because you're helping them save money or make money.
Sure.
If you're not doing any of the two, you're a burden.
Yeah.
You're just not worth keeping.
Yeah.
That's my view. And I'm talking about, I'm not talking about social services kind of organizations.
Yes.
We can talk about that if you like, because there's stuff that would be a little different, because the game there is not just about making money. But in a majority of places, it's about making money because we must pay you. Even in social services, in schools, in universities, it's not about money, but we need money to pay salaries. So at some point, there's got to be, whoever is leading the school or the university has got to make things work that can bring the money so that we can pay everybody. But in a business, in corporate, it's simple. You must either help the company save money or make money.
Sure.
If your CEO called you into the office and said, Pabi, why should I keep you in this job?
Hey, I just felt like he just asked me now.
No, seriously, I actually think many CEOs should do that.
Yeah.
To call your people like, Pabi, you know, I know you're gifted. I know you've got the degrees. I know you're experienced. But please tell me why. You know we are in a financial crisis. You know we are working at a deficit. We're struggling to... Tell me, Pabi, why should I keep you under these circumstances? Because we are struggling to pay salaries as it is. Why should I keep you? What are you going to say?
Ish. And I had an answer before you gave your opinion.
Yeah.
I was also thinking about it now, and I'm like, I'm going to say it's because I do this and that but I'm like, actually no. So you've just changed my perspective. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. So
you see, if you give me a laundry list of the things you do, I will say, how is that helping us save money or
and
make money?
Okay.
If you don't know, I will say, go home, come back tomorrow, and tell me, how are these things that you're doing helping us save money or make money? Because I just think young people think you come into a company, there's money, it keeps growing on trees, and people just keep you paying a salary. It comes from somewhere.
Somewhere.
It comes from, somebody makes it.
Yeah.
And if it runs out, we've got to get rid of you. Unfortunately, we're going to get rid of you first before you get rid of me as a manager.
Yeah.
And managers go last because we must manage your exits. And the closing of the doors and the selling of the furniture and everything.
Yeah.
You'll be crying, why are they firing us first? Why are they sitting there? Why? No, you are going to go. Because we must be the ones selling the glasses, the furniture, the chairs, the whatever.
One person must still be
One person, it's going to be us, the leadership. So you always have to think, young people always have to think about that.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for that. I think this is the reason why we have the podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
Because we're changing people's perspectives.
Yeah.
And, anything that has to do with human resources related matters, people feel that there's a wall between it and the people.
Okay.
So this is why we have the podcast. We want to also understand, as well as the host and as employees, as leaders in organizations, whether big or small, we also need this kind of advice.
Yeah.
So I engage with our viewers a lot, and I'm finding that they have a lot of questions and that they feel that are not answered enough. And we are lucky to have you here because we're going to pick your brain a little bit. We're going to take as much as we can.
Yeah.
And so my question is, what is your advice to people that are struggling to cope in stressful environments, working environments?
Yeah. I mean, my advice is you've got to find another job. If you're stuck, no, I mean, seriously. If it's, depending on how stressful the situation is, you've got to find another job. But of course, you don't find the job tomorrow. So what do you do whilst you are
in that?
there?
Yes.
You've got to find help. I would go to a psychologist. I mean, when I was in a difficult situation, I had the support of a psychiatrist.
Okay.
And a psychologist. Because a psychologist is important to talk through things, whatever, and they help you on addressing things this way or that way. But a psychiatrist is important to they can prescribe something that can help you calm down, or even because psychiatrists don't deal just with things that are quick fixes.
Yeah,
it may be that this is some medication that you have to be on for longer to calm you down, to ease your anxiety levels and so on, because that can be damaging. And the bigger thing that people don't know is that the reason why I say it's important to look for another job, it's always important to find a place of peace.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate that.
Yeah.
Because I have learned in my last job that it doesn't matter how strong you are, your body keeps the score.
Sure.
Your body takes the trauma, especially when you're strong. You keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Because you're strong.
Yes.
And you can handle this. And you go on an day-to-day tasks as if there isn't this or that. People throw bombs at you in meetings, in whatever. You keep going on. And because you are damaged, you are traumatized, you actually perpetuate the trauma. Because you're traumatized, you traumatize other people.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Because you're running meetings, But you are being traumatized, you are damaged. Of course, you are in therapy and everything,
Yeah.
or medication, but you, first of all, you traumatize other people. Secondly, your body keeps the score. Thirdly, you are going to pay the price. I only learned of the disease that's called functional neurological disorder
Sure.
through my experience.
And what does the disease? What is the disease?
It's when your body keeps the trauma in a particular part.
Okay.
Yeah, a particular part of your body keeps the trauma, and then it starts manifesting as a particular kind of disease. In some people, it may manifest as symptoms of stroke.
Okay.
Yeah, or whatever. So for me, it was my legs.
Okay.
I mean, I was sure that by the end of 2021, 2020, 2021, I'll be on wheelchair.
Is it?
Yeah, and I used to joke about it to my colleagues to say, I mean, me being me, I'll find fun and, make the Mickey of any situation.
Yeah.
I said to them, my legs are so sore. I can feel that I'll be on wheelchair.
Sure.
And I used to say to them, the day I get onto wheelchair, everybody, each one of you will want to be on wheelchair. Because it's going to be the coolest way of being. Because I'm going to make it look so
cool.
You know, and I used to say, it's going to have umbrella. It's going to have a bling bling. But it's because I was trying to psych myself to the time when I'm on wheelchair. Because I just thought the pain, sometimes, I mean, I always fought to wake up, to get out of bed in the morning. The difficult times were in the morning and at night when I sleep, because that's when the pain was intense, most intense. During the day it was, and of course it was during lockdown, we were working from home, and I would put a hot water bottle and so on. But I tell you, even after I left my previous job, let's just call it the salt mines.
Yeah.
I've given it
mines.
the salt mines.
Yeah.
Even after I decided to leave the salt mines, the pain was there. The pain kept evolving, changing. And I remember whilst I was in the job before I left, I didn't tell my psychiatrist or my psychologist, but I told my GP, my legs are sore. But you don't relate pain with trauma, with mental stress. You don't. You think these things are separate, but they are connected. You know, our lives are all connected. So I then told to my GP. My GP said, it sounds like a neurological problem, so I'll refer you to a neurologist.
Sure.
Got the top neurologist. So now I've got the top psychiatrist. Now I'm getting the top neurologist. The neurologist, they spent 2 hours testing, doing all the tests. And she said, you know, physiologically, there's nothing wrong with you. You are fine. And I said, but I'm in pain. So what do I do? And then she sat me down and she said, it's a psychosomatic problem.
Okay.
Sometimes psychological problems said, are you on therapy? So I said, yeah, I'm on therapy with the psychologist. And she says, you have a psychiatrist? I said, yes. And she said, I want to talk to your psychiatrist because there's a condition called functional neurological disorder. She gave me a website. She said, read about it, educate yourself about it. And she explained your body keeps a trauma and it's to protect itself.
Okay.
You know, and some people, she said, you know, you're lucky it's legs. Some people it's this or that, or that people, you know, sit on wheelchair for 3 years or more, and only the doctors can only treat the symptoms, but actually it's got nothing to do with the symptoms.
Sure.
So and I lived with that. I went, I read about it. I even bought the book. There's a book actually.
Okay.
Someone who did research in countries where countries which have been ravaged by war, where people lived in conditions of war for a long period. And the title of the book is The Body Keeps the Score.
I love that.
And we don't think about it. But I promise you, I'm still healing from the pain. My right leg is fine. My left leg is whatever. I decided to go to Kilimanjaro when I left the salt mines.
Oh.
Yeah, to climb Kilimanjaro, and I summited. And part of that was to defy the pain.
Sure.
And it still never went away. I summited. But psychologically, I wanted to deal with the psychological burden that maybe I'll never walk again. That I wanted to say, I am going to walk again, despite the pain. You know, so living in stressful conditions is hard. So that's why you got surprised when I said, find another job.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you have to find another job. It's well enough for me to say, you know, find help, talk to your manager, get mental health, whatever. Sometimes you've got to assess. It's not every place that's going to be that toxic. Some places are more toxic than others. And if it's really that, and you can see, I mean, I could see at the salt mines, too many people who are traumatized. Too many people committing suicide.
Sure.
There were too many people committing suicide. I found a place like that. Suicide figures were at double digits.
Yo.
So why do I think it's just me?
Yeah.
And I thought I can change it. Of course, I'm, you know, I was the top person. And I thought, you know, you can fight this. And the suicide rates went down. It was single figures, but my body was taking the pain. You get battered everywhere from all sides. You get gaslit. You get whatever. And then there is no question about it. You are going to suffer the consequences. And not everyone is as strong. I came out alive.
Sure.
Some people don't come out alive. So you have to figure out quickly, is this a situation that I can, am I the first one?
Yeah.
Or has this happened before? Am I strong enough to withstand it? Am I senior enough? Am I what? Because if you're not senior enough, then the sooner you leave, the better. If you're senior enough, then maybe you fight some battles, you'll win some. But ultimately, you got to leave because it's not worth your life.
Sure, that is very profound. Yeah. And I think, you know, when you listen to the story on another podcast or another platform, I think you fail to connect. But now that we have you here, I'm just like, okay, I'm intrigued. Yeah. And your experience at Kilimanjaro, sorry, we've got another guest that also summited.
Yeah.
And they had a very amazing experience to share with us. And I believe everyone's experience is different.
Yeah.
And I'd like to find out from you, how was your experience and what did you take with you that you'd like someone to, you know, take from?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the journey to summit Kilimanjaro is not so much about physical fitness. It's really about willpower.
Sure. Okay.
And willpower is something that's lacking on so many people. It's what makes people succeed. It's not your qualification. Qualification is important. Just like physical fitness is important to go to Kilimanjaro. But without willpower, even with physical fitness, you won't summit.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Because every step of going up the mountain, it got to a point where I was asking myself every step, why am I doing this? And that's why you need to be clear about your why from the beginning. Why do you do what you do? And starting with the why, frankly speaking, is hugely important for anything. For a job, for a career, for when you go studying at university. Why are you choosing that? Why do you do what you do is important. Because that's what carries you up to Uhuru's peak at Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
So it taught me that. It taught me that there are certain things don't matter. You know, when you start the journey up Kilimanjaro, you start on the rainforest. You know, of course, you've got to drink at least 4 liters of water per day. And you know, you get pressed and weeing is important. And of course, there are trees, so you can hide behind the tree. And you're so conscious because it's a group of men and women. And like, you know, people should not look.
Yeah.
As you go along, it gets harder.
Yeah.
You get to a point where, you know, the vegetation changes. And then you get to a point that it's dry.
Yeah.
It's dry, it's a desert, but there's rocks. You know, there's still a bit of water, but there's no trees anymore. But there's still rocks you can hide behind.
Yeah.
And, you know, the number of things that matter as I went up kept becoming less and less. By the time we're doing the last 8 kilometers, which we summit on day number 4, and we go up at night so that we can summit on sunrise. It was the desert. We're going up the mountain. It's just sand and small little rocks.
Yeah.
There's no big rock to hide behind. You still get pressed. You still drink a lot of water. It's damn cold.
Yeah.
Your fingers can freeze. As I say, more and more the things that matter fall off. You don't care anymore that you need a wee. Who's going to see your bum? The very same group of people that you've been walking with, that you've been hiding behind the tree for. You don't care anymore. Anyway, even if you cared, there's nothing to hide behind. You just have to go and wee. Just look the other way. You have to choose. What do they see, the front or the back? That's all you got to choose. Because it's like, and I thought, but this is life. Life is too short. We worry about so many things that don't matter.
Sure.
But when it gets tough, things that matter become less. And Kilimanjaro taught me that. Actually, it doesn't matter. So I came down the mountain with less baggage.
Sure.
I literally descended with less baggage that actually you don't have to like me. I don't need to be in your space. I don't need to be on your TV program. I don't need to be your friend. If you don't want me, that's fine.
Yeah.
I've got very few years left on earth. Life can end tomorrow. I'm going to make it worthwhile. I'm going to go for it. Doesn't matter how tough the task is. If I want it, I'm going to go for it. So I came back more determined, more free to be me.
Yeah.
More free to be me. And more determined to own who I am. Because it's just like going up the mountain. It didn't matter anymore that the guys I started with can see my bum. I was like, it's my bum, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
But I cared. 2 days ago when we were at the rainforest.
Hiding behind rocks.
Not only hiding, saying, guys, stop. If they walk that way, like, no. By that time, you didn't care.
Yeah.
I cared about the fact that I don't want my fingers to freeze. My water mustn't freeze. My bladder must be smooth. The water must still come out. My toes, I must keep moving my toes. Damn, I need a wee. I don't want to wee myself. The quicker I do it, because it's so cold, the better. Right? So it didn't matter. My lips, your lips get so dry, they're icy. I've put something, one of the guides who couldn't even touch me on the day one. Not because I'm stopping them, but just because the boundaries are so big and there's so much. By the time we get to the last mile, it's so tough. He can see, the guide can see that my lips are dry. He puts whatever in his lotion, puts on my lips with his finger.
And
I am so happy that he's doing that. I don't care where that finger has been. I mean, that's, it's like being free.
Yeah.
I'm free. Look, my lips are cracking.
Yeah.
So this guy, who's a guide, is willing to put his lotion. I don't know whether it's Zambak or I put my whole shea butter on my face and the Vaseline, the Zambak. But when we talk and I try to laugh, I go and I can feel my lips going
because of the eyes.
Because of the eyes, yeah. So when he puts something, I am so happy.
Yeah.
But can you see what mattered
2 days ago?
Doesn't matter anymore. There's a lot at stake. There's life at stake. There's more important things at stake. My willpower keeps me going. It's like, it was almost like I'm shedding off the baggage.
Yes.
And so it was an important journey. I would recommend it for many people. I mean, besides the fact that you many people come back as corpses. Some people don't make it, they go back. Because of the altitude, the amount of oxygen goes down tremendously, and the threat of hypothermia, that your body temperature can go below the required level.
Yeah.
Yeah, but willpower. So here I am with a sore leg and baggage from the salt mines. I went up the mountain. I was like, this baggage, when I come back, and slowly, it just fell apart, because as more and more perspective, things become clear, and what matters becomes clear. Not everything matters. Doesn't matter what people think went down at the salt mines when I was leading the institution. I know what I did. I know. And the people I led, whose life I have touched, and those whose lives I have changed, know that very well. They know that very well. And one day, they will tell the story.
Sure.
So I'm going to keep my head up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be free to be me, because actually, it doesn't matter.
I didn't expect that. Yeah, I didn't expect that because, I thought I'd hear, and like I'm saying, everyone's experience is different. I thought I'd hear something similar, but I swear to you, this is new to me and I'm like taken away. And as you're saying it, I'm starting to realize that, when we go back to the topic, we tend to do that as employees in the organization. We focus more on the things that don't matter, that ultimately affect or impact our productivity.
Yes.
Yesterday you shouted at me.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I really take...
It doesn't change who I am. It doesn't change what I'm about.
Doesn't define you.
Doesn't define me. So, and even you get affected by those things emotionally and whatever. You don't only get angry at the people, but they eat you up, these things.
Yes.
You allow yourself to be eaten, but life is too short, guys. Actually, a lot of these things don't matter. What matters is your life, your peace, your, who you are. So I left the salt mines. Never been happier, never been freer.
I'm
never
stuck
been,
on salt
you know what I mean?
mines. I'm trying to be so serious.
Here's the thing. You must name your place of pain.
Yeah.
So that you don't go back there.
Okay.
Yeah. Name it.
Okay.
Name it.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Otherwise, you might not recognize it. Because it might not be other people's place of pain. But it's my place of pain. So I'm giving it a name.
Okay.
And that's my name. I don't care what you say. You can call it whatever you like. And I'm calling it that. It serves as a reminder. I don't want to be back there. Places of shame happen. They teach us a lot of things. They help us come into our own. They help us become maybe that which we were destined to be. We were not aware of.
Yeah, Prof. This is very profound. And I think my last question, because we could sit here the whole day. Mental health, you touched on that a lot. It's affecting a lot of people who are employed. It's affecting youngsters. I think, especially us as the Black community, mental health, we're only becoming aware of it recently. And a lot of time, people are off work or people are doing the most in organizations, spending time away from work because mental health is taking a toll on them. And recently we had a psychologist on the podcast who gave employees or employers advice on how to deal with this. But from an employer perspective, what advice do you give to employers who are dealing with employees with mental health issues?
I mean, I would say, first of all, an employer should have support systems in place. Have a service where everyone, whether they get a card that's got numbers, whatever, they know in times of need they can call this number. Counseling for whatever. Whether they have medical aid or not, they should be able to get that. I think it's important to do that, and also to have sessions, once a month or whatever, free sort of sessions that people can come in and learn about it, because some people don't know about these things. Because of course, when we talk about mental health, often we only talk about depression, anxiety, and so on. But there's also things about, many people are on some spectrum.
Yes.
But they're not aware. And being on some spectrum that needs to be managed this way or that way, but you're not aware. And so you get triggered either way, this way or that way, when it can be dealt with better. So I think that kind of space needs to be created by an employer. And the employer, I mean, there's the thing about an employer is that the employer, the place of employment is not a hospital.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes I wish employees can also understand this. As much as the employer has got a responsibility, the reason why the employer needs to make sure that you are healthy and strong and mentally well is so that you can work and make money for them.
Yes.
That's why they got you there.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we have to make these services available.
Yeah.
So that you are healthy and strong and work for us. Once you are no longer healthy and strong to work for us, we are going to start asking ourselves questions.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Is whatever? And that's why there are policies on medical boarding and so on. It's not that the company doesn't like you, but the company has to have a medical boarding policy. You know, because if someone is on mental health leave for 8 months, got to start asking questions. If it's one person, we understand. 8 months, another person 6 months, another.
Yeah.
Everyone is like over 6 months, they are on leave, sick leave for mental health. Then the company has got to do some introspection. You know, you have suicides that are just growing. And if you're a university, suicides, whether it's staff or students, you've got to do an introspection. There's something wrong with the place.
Yes.
There's no point in pointing fingers at one person who just came yesterday. You know, the place. Because we've got to say, how long have we been having? Every year we've got 2 employees who commit suicide.
Yeah.
Of course, there's no suicide note. We've got so many employees who have taken leave for mental health. Like the HR must do those stats, in my view, and give a report to the board. And the board must be concerned.
Yeah.
There's something in this company that's going on. It's not one person who can solve the problem.
Yeah.
It's not like you say, just one. We've got to have an introspection and see historically where does it come from. Is it the culture? Do we need to recalibrate? Do we even need to move buildings? Maybe.
Yeah. Hey.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, like, just uproot and start afresh and reorganize and maybe, and then deliberately start a new culture.
Yeah.
Do you need to do that? I think there's something about employers that is important that we need to do. Because you don't want to be a place where just people can just in and out. Health. And then one day the person that you like has got a mental health issue and suddenly it's a problem. because they don't get along with the CEO.
Yeah.
But you've been having people suicides, double digits. You never showed interest.
Yeah.
And suddenly your beloved person. Companies are weird, right?
Yeah.
And I asked them, hey, chair of the board, why are you suddenly worried about this person? Look at your history. So HR must keep, that's why those reports are important. Because from the cleaner to the person on top.
Yeah.
Suicides, leave on basis of mental health. Keep the records so that you can tell the story of the company. And you can be able to diagnose it better. Rather than only wake up when is your beloved employee. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And then a word for employees is that, as much as I said the company hired you for a particular purpose so that you can deliver.
Yeah.
If you are on mental health leave for more than 6 months and you still expect them to pay you, there's something
it's not make sure, ne?
It's not make sure. Because where does the money come from? So they might want to reduce your salary.
Yeah.
Maybe half it. They might say, okay, we'll pay you. And then maybe when you are well, they start deducting. I mean, sometimes they do that. I have a son who had cancer, who was on chemo. First month of the new job.
Yeah.
Boom. He's diagnosed with cancer. And he had to be on chemo. He had to be in hospital. He has to be... And the company supported him. And after he completed chemo and transplant, they said, we are going to deduct.
Yeah.
And I said to him, they must, my boy. They kept your job.
Yeah.
They are not being snacks. You were not working for them. You had just joined them.
Ish. Yeah.
And they didn't say, first month, you haven't even earned the first salary, go. So at one level I said to him, as an executive, I understand what they got there because they need to make money. But know that it's not forever. They're going to deduct. They're not deducting 100%. They're deducting some of the money. And then it will be over. So what? It's life. At least,
you still have a job.
You still have a job, and they kept your salary, sustained your salary through the difficult times. They didn't cut it, So employees don't understand these things, even if it's on policy, because often you don't read that fine print when things are okay. Then you think people, the company is not being fair. I said to my son, they are being fair.
Sure.
That's just how the world works. You have to make money to pay money. So I think that's my view on both sides of the employer and employee and how to manage mental. And the world is a tough place. So I don't think it's gonna get better with mental health issues. I think it's only gonna get worse. Social media is making it worse. Not just social media, just the technological advancement.
Yeah.
Social media, AI, deep fake, generative AI just makes it tough because people can pretend to be you.
Yeah.
Doing certain things that you don't even do. Now there's an app that can just undress you on social media.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yes, then suddenly you are naked.
Yeah.
No,
they're pushing it now.
And I've seen it, someone ask, so there's a person on, I won't say names, whatever, but some handler on Twitter who said, can you undress Prof, please?
Aibo.
Yeah. And they ultimately did.
Oh my
And what can I do? All I did was to report it to X, and then X can remove the picture.
That's all.
But it's because technology now allows us to do that. It's not that it's you, but they create your body based on what you're wearing. They just
that is just
so you can imagine.
Yeah.
So and I can still keep my head up because part of me looked at it and said, "Oh, damn fine, I am." Look, I mean, what can I do? I mean, I'm almost summiting Uhuru.
Yes.
Taking the Kilimanjaro analogy, right?
Yes.
There's so much to worry about. Like, I don't have to worry about that, man. If these people want to do that, all I can do is report to Twitter.
That's all.
That's all. And they removed it. But does it mean that created image doesn't go circulating on WhatsApp? Of course it does. It's not me.
It's not you.
But they won't know because they've never seen me naked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can imagine that happening to a 24-year-old who's not self-actualized, who's still finding themselves, who's just been dumped, who's feeling unworthy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can go home and just literally end your life.
Basically.
Exactly. So as I say, with the advancement in technology, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tougher. And so places of employment have to be kinder, have to be more prepared.
Yeah.
And individuals, as individuals, have to also be more prepared and kinder. And we've got to teach more skills of existing in this environment. Because even if you say you are not on social media, it doesn't help. Last story, here's the thing. A friend of mine is a urologist.
Urologist. What is a urologist?
A urologist is a specialist, a medical specialist, medical doctor who specializes in male genitals, right?
Okay.
And is my best friend.
Okay.
It was the first time. She's not on social media at all. There's probably one picture of her on the net.
Okay.
She doesn't read newspapers. She doesn't look at TV. She doesn't want to get depressed. She wants to be. And then what happens is that, many people know that she's my friend. Now, what happens is that then on social media, a poster starts appearing that erectile dysfunction, they have a picture there. You call her, the numbers, whatever, they've got the story, whatever. And you look at the page, it's sponsored.
Okay.
It's sponsored, which means the people who did that, they paid for the page, right?
Yes.
They start that way. I think they realize, hey, it's not going. What they do, they take my picture and her name. So it's written Dr. Matabe, Dr. Khomotso Matabe, are you struggling with erectile dysfunction? So initially it was her picture, and I think they realized that it doesn't sell, but my picture will sell because it's recognizable. But now it's no longer my name, it's Dr. Khomotso Matala. Some people don't remember because I go by Feb Academic. So people don't remember what my name is, really. All they know is I'm a professor. But now this tells you, she's a urologist and whatever. People click, people pay monies. She's a professor at the University of Pretoria. She now gets these queries that people are complaining that their money is out, the service is not coming through. So whether you're on social media or not, it happens to my friend who's not on social media, but she's a professional. She's a head of urology at Steve Biko, right, at University of Pretoria. And all they did is to put my name. Now, my face. So I feel aggrieved because now I get people saying, oh, now you're in erectile dysfunction. So mine's dealt with you. You know. But she gets to deal with this because it's her name, even if it's not her face. Because quickly the poster with her face. But if I showed you the number of posters with my face and her name, that they're still coming out, and
now.
Yeah, they're on. I mean, I reported. I had to do such. You report many times, and I tell many people to report until the social. But what technology has done is made that possible, and so people are making money out of this. And as I'm saying, someone gets depressed on that. It was the Sunday she opened a criminal case, and the Sunday Times ended up interviewing her for the story. Of course, they didn't mention that they're using my face. Because, I mean, what can I say? It's her name. And it's her profession. You know, you're a top, you know, so even just that, suddenly someone who's not on social media is stressed by what's going on social media. Can you see? So you cannot say you're going to run away from stress of the world by moving away from social media. It will still be there. So we need to be better prepared as employers. We need to be better prepared as employees. We need to have to skill people better at this, and probably schools need to work on the assumption. Schools and universities.
Yes,
we just have to work on the assumption that everybody is traumatized. And how do you teach children who are traumatized? How do you work with university students who come to the university traumatized? We just have to. I think we have to work in that way because this world is really can be brutal. So
yeah.
Sure,
Prof. Thank you so much. That was amazing. That was amazing. I can't repeat. I need you to come back again. Please.
If you like it, we charge. If you like it too much, we charge too much. Nothing for free. It's 2024.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
we'd like to just show you a token of appreciation for being with us today. You came all the way from Botswana to be with us today, so we don't take that lightly. We'd like to say thank you so much. You're truly amazing, truly amazing. And we're privileged to have you here.
Thank you so much. Look at that. Thank you.
Yes.
I love flowers. It's my year of flowers, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ooh, I need to just say bye to my viewers. Maskare kibona Prof, and then I don't want to say bye.
I can go.
No, where are you going? But thank you so much, everyone, for watching our episode. Prof was amazing. I'm telling you, she was. So please, comment, share, like, and subscribe. And please don't forget to give us your feedback because that is very important to us. Stay blessed, and it's your sizzling host, Babi Mawela. Bye.